everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Strike Noise, your favorite weekly baseball history podcast. My name's Jeff. I'm one half of the show. The other half, as always, Mark A. Johnston, joining us from the Pacific Northwest Satellite Studio. Mark, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great. What's going on? Are we doing a show?
Yeah, we're doing a show with live baseball happening as we speak.
Okay, I wasn't ready for this. So it's no different than usual.
No.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm ready to rumble. Let's do this.
Yeah, so we're recording this on Thursday. The Dodgers and the Cubs are playing a spring training game right now.
Spring training games, they're like methadone. They get in your system and they calm you down.
Yeah, I always, every year, I'm like, I can watch a game today. That's the first games. And like this weekend, especially, I'll be like, and then I realize 3 innings in when I don't know anybody. I'm like, well,
exactly.
All right, let's move on. But the thing here is that you're going to have baseball on almost every day from now through the end of October. So
absolutely,
as a baseball fan, you've got to be excited about that.
The Johnston household television will be on baseball. See, it works like this. I get to watch as much baseball as I can, but during the off season, my wife, it's always on the Hallmark channel.
Oh, gee, that's rough. I thought you were going to say like cooking or TLC, which is fine.
No, I like those.
We watch those, but the Hallmark channel.
Yeah, it's a little rough, but then again, as an actor, I would kill to be in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, well, they're very popular. Are there any baseball themed Hallmark movies?
Yeah, I think there was one. I can't remember a hockey one. Like, I don't know. I lose my attention span can only go so long in a Hallmark movie. And I don't mean to offend anybody that likes Hallmark, but I can go in and start to get it. And then I'll be like, okay, so then they're going to like each other. And then he's going to go in and kiss her. And then somebody's going to interrupt. And then okay, I get it.
Well, I know there's a football one on right now, or that just came out that I've seen people talking about, but if there's a baseball one, I think we should watch it sometime. Talk about it.
Might do a show on it. That's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about real non-Hallmark baseball stuff, though. This is show number 279. If you didn't catch last week's, you should go back and you should listen to the whole thing. It was gold. It was gold, Jerry.
It was.
But one of our longtime listeners, Marshall, gave us a dedicated curated packs, which was a lot of fun to go through because there are guys that we had never talked about. And he told me that he tried to skew it to you for a win, but I ended up with the win. So that's good news for me. But I'm going to try to work out with him a way to make a template so that we can get that out there and all of our listeners can do that so that they can send us specific cards from a specific set that we might not cover because we're trying to buy these packs as cheap as possible because
that's right.
We're not making money on this thing. So it becomes expensive if we're trying to get packs that we have not opened before. And that was a great way to do it. And they're just links to a web page. It's great. It was a lot of fun. Thank you again, Marshall. Hopefully we can get that out to some other people. But let's get into it, Mark. It's spring training. Let's just say spring training instead of BP.
Okay, spring training.
Let's get in shape and take some live BP. How about that? But it is Black History Month too. So we're going to talk we talk a lot about the Negro Leagues anyway, but we'll make sure to get some Negro League stories in here. I was telling Mark yesterday, it has finally happened on show number 279. I spent several hours over a couple of days researching a topic to talk about this week. And as I was going through and Googling things, trying to find sources, I found that we had already done a show on the topic of the history of spring training a couple of years ago, as a matter of fact. So pretty much all the stuff that I found a couple of new things that I want to talk about, but that wiped out the show I was going to do. So we're going to do a Tales from the Dugout thing here, but we're going to gear it a little bit more towards the Negro Leagues and spring training, which interestingly enough, during spring training, while the Negro Leagues had to be a thing, they all trained in pretty much the same area. In fact, they played each other quite a bit. But the Hot Springs, Arkansas, that we talked about a lot in that episode that I had forgotten about, that is where Major League and Negro League teams trained at the same time.
Yes.
It's odd that in Arkansas, and I don't want to disparage all Arkansonians, that's what they're called. But when you think of racial integration, Arkansas got to be one of the last places that you think of that this might have happened. But that's where they did it. Those springs were magical. But
I've been to Arkansas and I enjoyed it very much. Great people. In fact, I even spent a weekend in Hot Springs. So it was.
I watched a baseball video on it. I want to go. There are markers and historical things all over the place. And the hot springs just look cool. There's like all these old timey buildings that are hotels that are attached to them. I was looking at it and I'm like, wow, I want to go to Arkansas.
Yeah,
which is,
it was also known for the gangsters, Chicago gangsters.
Yeah, there
gangsters.
are so many different historical museums and kind of regions of this little city.
That was their like time off. They would go to Hot Springs.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever uttered the words, I want to go to Arkansas, but I did the other day. And yeah, I'm going to New Orleans here pretty soon. I'm not super excited about it, but I got to look up some baseball things to go check out as well.
There you go. Yes, for sure.
Before I go to Louisville later this summer, which I am very excited about. But
yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about some actual baseball players that people know about. Remember Franmil Reyes, the Franmil?
Yes.
I think he played for Cleveland when he was in the big leagues. He's been in Japan the last year or two for the Nippon Ham fighters, our team, our guys.
Yes.
Those fighters. He has joined the team for spring training again. He's going to play again there this year. But he revealed that during the offseason in the Dominican Republic, he hired 14 different pitchers to throw batting practice to him.
Wow. All
of them specializing in a different pitch. So he posted
brilliant.
On his Instagram. He's like, hey, if you can throw this pitch, hit me up. I want to see. I want to face you. So really interesting. First of all, are there really 14 pitches?
Apparently so. When you really you could be looking at a slurve, or they don't throw that anymore, or a scroogey.
Well, I think they're called sweepers now, and
yeah, you get the sweeper.
There's no more Mr. Snappy or stuff like that. But he had just 14 different pitchers he'd take BP off of, so he could see all those different pitches and work on it. Which I don't know why. Why are major league teams not doing that?
No, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
it makes total sense.
Yeah, that does. That makes a lot of sense. But so he's going to be in Japan. So is I mentioned. I've been mentioning this people as I talk to them that Trevor Bauer is signed again in Japan. Trevor Bauer fans, man, you guys are very, very loyal.
Out there. That's
as
right.
I found out from the last video where I specifically said I'm not including Trevor Bauer because I don't like him. And Trevor Bauer fans don't like that. Even though he wouldn't have made that best last season because his WAR just wasn't high enough. I just wasn't including him because he's essentially been blackballed and I didn't want to talk about him.
Which is your call, man. It's
exactly. Don't
show,
watch
right?
it. If you are a Trevor Bauer stan, this is our show. Our brand is probably not your content. I'm just telling you. I don't want to turn listeners off, but we're not going to talk about him in a positive light, if at all. So go watch his YouTube channel. Go watch that stuff. But let's talk about positive stuff again. Some new rules being implemented this year that we've talked about. Also, though, in spring training, they are going to be implementing the ABS, the automatic ball strike, or the automatic ball strike challenge system? Is that what it's ABS stands for?
I think so.
All big strikes. I don't know what it is, but they're going to implement that in spring training just as a test. They're trying to get people used to it because they're doing it in the minor leagues and it works really well. I think we've talked about this before, right? You've watched some minor league games, as have I, where they've used this. It's super quick. Nobody's getting mad. It's yes, it happened. No, it's not. But remember a couple, I don't know, it was maybe even 10 years ago when MLB was trying to keep batters in the batter's box unless they fouled the ball off. That didn't go well.
No.
Like David Ortiz and Robinson Cano have a timer in their head that their at-bats must last at least 5 minutes, and that was throwing them off. So we'll see how this works. From the games I've watched, like I said, it's quick, it's yes or no. To me, though, it also means that like a single seam could clip the strike zone, and that's gonna be a strike.
Yeah, seriously, it's a game of inches. Well, how about a game of millimeters?
Yeah, it's But I guess in the rules of the game, that is a strike, though. If any part of that ball goes over that plate and is within the north-south strike zone, it's a strike. But also, if you were to use this in a regular season, which it's going to happen, it's just a matter of time, I think umpires should be rated on this. And if they're constantly missing these calls and getting them overturned, there needs to be a punishment. They need to be sent down to try and work on it.
Well, that's a good point. You got the umpires union would probably oppose it. But...
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Angel Hernandez finally got canned.
Right.
They do this in Korea. I know in the KBO, umpires get set down. I'm not sure about the NPB, but in the KBO, umpires can be sent down. So I think if there's a certain number of times that you get overruled, they either need to adapt or they need to be replaced. That's how you would improve the quality of umpires. Lord knows the MLB just had to suspend for their best ball and strike umpire just got suspended for his lifetime. So they need good umpires and just make sure they're not involved in gambling anyway.
Yeah, this is true. And it takes it's a hard job. We understand that. It is an incredibly hard job, but you want to have the best at it doing that. And if there's a way to measure that, why not?
Yeah, umpire scorecards, you see those after each game. There are guys that are 96, 97%. I'm fine with that. But when you get guys that are like 89%, you have affected the outcome of the game more than likely at that point. It needs to be improved. And then we wouldn't even need the ABS system if this was a thing to begin with. But we'll see. That's enough umpire talk for this episode at least. Let's see some other things that have happened since we last talked. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. That always happens in the middle of spring training. It used to be I remember the Phillies. I think the Phillies might have been like the only time at one point that would wear green uniforms on St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
That was in the 80s. They were the only team doing that. But now every team's got 8,000 hats and uniforms just to sell merch and stuff. MLB released green and orange hats for all 30 teams that they're going to wear on spring training this year. They're all identical except for the logo, except for one glowing error. All of them have a clover on the hat, and they all have 4 leaves. Now, a 4-leaf clover, right? That's for good luck.
Yes.
But the clover leaf associated with St. Patrick's Day is a shamrock, which only has 3 leaves.
Uh-oh.
So they've put the wrong clover on there. It's not really 4-leaf clover is not related to St. Patrick's Day at all. It's the 3-leaf clover is.
Which is, as far as we know, isn't that lucky.
Well, it wasn't for the snakes, right?
Right. Yeah, all gone.
I think that's what is St. Patrick, the guy that played the flute or something and drove all the snakes out. Was he that bad of a flautist?
Well, I don't know. They were following him. So maybe he was just so absolutely good as far as reptiles are concerned.
He was a charmer, snake
That's
charmer.
It.
Uh-huh. Well, this is not the first hat error that Major League Baseball has made this month, I guess. The Giants, the San Francisco Giants, marketed I'm not going to tell you how I wrote this, but they messed up a hat earlier this month as well when they unveiled their spring training hats. Because, everybody's got different hats for spring training than the regular season. The big logo on the side of the Giants cap had the wrong location. Instead of, they've been training, by the way, in Arizona since 1984. It's not a new thing. The patch on the side of the Giants hat said Florida. How do you mess that? I don't know. But quality control at New Era apparently has been hit by Doge. They've expanded their reach to be New Era's quality control as well. Some good news, Mark. We talked about several heists that have included baseball things. The Jackie Robinson statue, which they got to the bottom of. Remember, we talked about the Yogi Berra Museum had been hit and a bunch of rings and stuff had been stolen.
That's right.
Well, 3 Pennsylvania men have been convicted of committing these heists. The 3 men were found guilty of federal theft, concealment, and interstate transportation of stolen property. The U.S. Attorney's Office says that these 3 men were part of a 9-person conspiracy over 2 decades that would break into museums and other institutions and steal precious paintings, sports memorabilia, and more. These guys who stole Yogi Berra, they stole 10 World Series rings. First of all, that you have 10 is just crazy. But they stole 10 World Series rings, 7 championship rings, and 2 MVP plaques from his museum in Little Falls, New Jersey. They also stole other sports memorabilia from other places that included a Christy Mathewson jersey and 2 contracts signed by him. They also stole paintings by Andy Warhol and Jackson Pollock, among others. These 3 guys were accused of bringing stolen goods into northeast Pennsylvania. They melted the memorabilia into metal discs or bars and sold the raw metal to a New York fencing company for much less than its value.
Ugh, yeah, that stinks.
The value, if they knew what they were, would be World Series rings and stuff. I think they probably would have turned them in, but that's so sad. All that baseball history. And some of these things, like a famous painting that they had, they ended up burning just because they thought they were going to get caught and didn't want to have possession of it. That's just
terrible.
Stupid. Yeah. Idiots. So kind of a happy ending, but at least hopefully it'll stop.
Hopefully the judge who is applying the sentence is a big baseball fan.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Let's hope they have a great time in prison. All right, that's going to do it for our warm-up segment of the show. Mark, as I said, it's a Tales from the Dugout type day.
It is.
All right, so let's get into it. We've both got a couple of quick stories here. I wanted to talk about a story that kind of came to my attention when I was playing Starting 9 last week on stream. And I found an article, of course, because Saber always has an article written about these things, by James Overmeyer. And it is about night baseball and the Negro Leagues. So early in the 1930s, the city of Pittsburgh was a hotbed for the Negro Leagues. They had a battle for supremacy between 2 of the most storied Negro League teams ever, as the Pittsburgh Crawfords and the Homestead Grays, both called Pittsburgh home. In 1932, the 2 teams squared off 18 times during the season. The Crawfords owner, Gus Greenlee, had spent a lot of money and signed essentially an all-star team, including many from the Grays. He signed them and got them to come over. The Grays, though, were owned by Cumberland Posey, still ended up winning 10 of those 18 games. The 2 teams decided, hey, let's play a 4-game series at the end of the season, kind of like our own World Series for Pittsburgh. We'll call it the Berg's Best. They didn't. Nice. They didn't call it that. I just made that up.
Oh, I was like, that's sweet.
I know, isn't that? I was pretty proud of that one. Maybe we should market that.
Yeah, why not?
Well, Pittsburgh doesn't have 2 teams anymore, does it?
Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever been there? I haven't.
I have. I
love. Well, at least you got some cred.
I love Pittsburgh, actually. I really legitimately, beyond PNC Park being my favorite new construction ballpark, I really like Pittsburgh. It's a great city. The series was not only notable for its high level of Negro League baseball, but the games generally took place at night at this point, something that doesn't happen very often in the early 1930s. We've talked before about how the Kansas City Monarchs had a set of lights that they actually traveled with so they could play night games on the road. The House of David likewise did the same kind of thing. But at this point, the Crawfords had just installed their own permanent lights at their field. So the first game was on Friday night there. They played. Everyone was happy. Then they played a doubleheader the next day. The first game was a day game that took place about 30 miles out of town. And then they hightailed it back into Pittsburgh and played a nightcap at the Crawford Stadium again under the lights. So there's 3 of the 4 games are down. The problem was that the laws at the time forbid, I'm not sure what the past tense should be there, playing baseball on Sunday, the blue laws. The city had this law on the books since 1794. It It was around for quite a while.
I guess.
It was meant to, quote, to restrain disorderly sports and dissipation. I'm not sure how dissipation works there. End quote, among other things on the Sabbath. So they wanted to finish this series, and it had been well attended. I would have gone. It was very exciting. The Greys and the Crawfords. So they scheduled the fourth game to start at 12:01 a.m. on Monday morning.
I like that.
It's just like the Alaska, the midnight game that they play every year. Only they did this one out of necessity. The game was reported to have drawn nearly 3,000 fans, which was more than attended any of the previous three games.
It was at midnight. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was not a quick game either. It was 2 hours and 40 minutes. So not one of those hour and a half games that they sometimes had. I have worked a game that has ended about 2:30 at night, and it was not fun. So big ups to the fans though for going out and attending that game. But just one of those odd games. I don't think you ever see that in the big leagues. At least not now, for sure. Anytime I can talk Crawfords and Greys, I'm here for it. All right, Mark. What do you want to talk about?
I kind of was just doing some random reading, and came across this interesting story about the 1936 Summer Olympics. If you were any kind of historian, this was in Berlin. This is where Hitler and his master race were going to win every medal, all that stuff. And did a little research, and of course, I'm talking about the 200-meter race, and it was won by a dude who may be the most important athlete of all time, Mr. Jesse Owens. But you never hear about who came in second, because it was another American. And his name was Matthew Robinson, a.k.a. Mac Robinson. And Mac...
I think I might see where you're going.
Yes, Mac won that silver medal in the Olympics. He lost by 0.4 of a second. That's something to definitely be proud of. But, of course, Jesse was the story, as he should have been, and so on. Mac was an interesting guy. He went to school at Pasadena Junior College, and he was a great athlete as far as track and field and so on. He had a younger brother that occasionally would best him on the track and field angle. And like, for example, the long jump, he had set a new record for Pasadena Junior College on the long jump, and his little brother beat him by exactly 1 inch. So that opened the eyes of UCLA. UCLA offered his brother a full scholarship. He went to the University of Oregon and set a bunch of records up there doing his thing. But he never really got the recognition he did, and he deserved. And he's what I really liked about him is that he was also, just like Jackie, he crossed that color barrier. This was when Hitler said, "Oh, no blacks and no Jews in the Olympics," and everybody went, "Yeah, whatever." And they said no, and then went on to make Hitler look like an idiot. So I was reading about his younger brother, and apparently he was an athlete as well. And his name was Jack, or Jackie Robinson. And he went on to become one of the most important players, if not the most important baseball player of all time. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about Mac and just bring his memory up, because he's just not given the attention that he deserves. So Mac Robinson, older brother of Jackie Robinson, a couple of guys that changed the sports world and made it for the better. No question about it.
Yeah, speaking of Jackie, of course, played for the Monarchs, who we were just mentioning there. But beyond all of that, yeah, Jackie Robinson, he did football, baseball, and track, right? And then I'm seeing here that in high school he also played tennis and basketball. I mean, and his brother just is his older brother, right?
Another thing about Mac Robinson is he was there were 18 African American athletes on that Olympic team, and none of them got invited to the White House to meet FDR. And so that's pretty awful. And it's cool that Jackie, of course, became the icon he did, and he more than made up for it.
Yeah, I'm seeing here on Mac, it says at the start of middle school, he was diagnosed with a heart murmur that got worse with age and was advised to only play non-contact sports.
Wow.
Jeez. So he's in that picture, though, obviously, of Jesse Owens on the stand there in Berlin, getting his gold medal. He's right next to
the
him.
200 meter. Yep.
Yeah, but didn't play baseball. I wonder if I have to assume he's a great athlete. I had to assume he could have played baseball. It's a non-contact sport, but
yeah, I didn't come across any reason why he didn't. But no, he was a track guy.
Yeah, honestly, I did not know that. He was kind of sandwiched between two African Americans that kind of made history in terms of integration. So
yeah, in between a couple of icons is where he was, and should be mentioned more often, in my humble opinion.
Definitely. All right. I did want to touch on a couple of other things about spring training. As I said, I had been researching that before I found out that we've already done that. And I did that story too, which is even the weirder thing. Sometimes if you did the story, I need to look it up to see, but no, I did it and don't remember it at all. And one of the things I did find, which was so striking to me while I was researching it, is that the Negro League teams did train at the same time as the major league teams did there. But I found a couple of notes here that I'm not sure that we covered in that first one. And if we did, like one of them, I know we did, but I found some additional information than what was in my original script. So I wanted to talk about some of these things. And this is pretty much all has to do with the town of Hot Springs, Arkansas, that we talked about in the first segment. First of all, in 1903, Connie Mack took his boys there, and Rube Waddell, who we've talked about many
the
times.
Unique individual Rube Waddell.
This is where he dabbled in live alligator wrestling, because, and as if you haven't listened to that first episode, go back and listen to it. But I'll tell you, by the outfield of the main park, the most legendary park there where teams trained, was an alligator farm and petting zoo, which is still there to this day.
Petting zoo?
Yeah, I'll get to that.
I'd be careful on that.
So it was right there. You can't blame him for going over there and saying, can I wrestle that thing? That dinosaur? Can I wrestle that? He also had a failed affair with a brunette that was spending time there before, I guess, she headed south for the summer. I don't know, but he attempted to end his life apparently because she rebuffed him. So it was quite a time there for Rube. Also on St. Patrick's Day, this one we did cover, but I just had some other things here I wanted to talk about. St. Patrick's Day, 1918. Red Sox had a pitcher named Babe Ruth at this point, and he was a pitcher, good pitcher. He would take BP because pitchers hit at that time, and he was a good hitter, but he was forced to play first base in a spring training game against Pittsburgh this day, St. Patrick's Day. And big game. Who knows if he didn't play this game, who knows how the rest of his career and how baseball would be. But it was the first time that Babe played any position other than pitcher. I don't want to say in a major league game because this was a spring training game, but you get it, in a major league uniform, maybe. He hit 2 home runs that day in Hot Springs, Arkansas. The second one, 573 feet, that landed across the street in a pond of the aforementioned Arkansas Alligator Farm and Petting Zoo. The Red Sox took notice of this game and said, hey, maybe we should play him in the field a little bit more often. And should we also in the future need extra cash to put on a Broadway musical, we should think about trading him.
No, Nanette.
Again, No, Nanette was a hit. I want to make everybody know it was not a failed venture, in a sense that the musical did succeed, but yeah, they traded away the most famous and probably best baseball player to ever play the game. Now, a lot of baseball lore is part fact and part fiction. Babe Ruth called shot, for instance, didn't happen. I'm just going to say it didn't happen. He was pointing at the dugout. But in March 2011, there was the CEO of the Hot Springs National Park Convention and Visitors Bureau hired an engineering firm to investigate this home run. and see how long it actually was. Luckily, as I said, that gator petting zoo is still there in operation. The pond is still there. So they have home plate is set up in this parking lot that now inhabits where this park was. There's a home plate right there where it used to be. So you can go stand right where he was when he hit this. And so they used that and some photography and some engineering and all this. And they were able to determine that this did actually fly. Well, I don't still want to say fly. Maybe it ended up 573 feet.
It reached 573 feet.
Yeah,
how's that?
I don't know. But I mean, are they saying did it splash down 573 feet away, or did it roll into the pond? Because that's a long home run. Like,
oh yeah,
and especially I remember baseballs were a bit mushy at that point. They weren't switching them out. Like, could you really do that? I don't know. But
he'd had to get in a hold of that thing. Come on.
But I remember he swung like a 82-pound bat, right? So if somebody grooves a fastball and he makes contact, I don't know. We need the Mythbusters to try and disprove that.
There you go.
Also in Hot Springs, pitcher Smokey Joe Wood once rode an ostrich at the Hot Springs Ostrich Farm, which, by the way, is located right next to the alligator farm.
How convenient.
That seems like bad planning to have an alligator farm and an ostrich farm right next to each other.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But Smokey Joe jumped on one. It didn't say, I wanted to say he rode it to the game, like rode it on the field to the mound, like it was a bullpen cart. They had bullpen ostriches, apparently, is what I really wanted to say, but I can't prove that.
Man, what an entrance.
Yeah, that would be great. Or a emu or something. Just, yeah, I think we should. Well, that's cruelty. We don't want to do that. Scratch that.
We don't want to throw a saddle on an emu.
Yeah. Speaking of, I don't want to say, cruelty, but I would never do this. That alligator farm also has a very famous picture of a very famous baseball player, Tris Speaker. He is in street clothes with a cigar in his mouth, riding a stuffed alligator. Like, not like a stuffed animal, but, a
Yes.
deceased alligator. And he's riding it like it's a bucking bronco. I say to that, call me when he's riding a live one.
Yes, absolutely. Before the taxidermist.
Yeah, sure. I could do that. But anyway. Now, I did not remember this, and apparently a lot of people didn't at the time either. I don't know how many people remember it today, but March 14th, 2000. So again, spring training game. The Red Sox used 6 pitchers and threw a 5-0 perfect game against the Toronto Blue Jays in spring training.
Wow, very nice.
Obviously, a perfect game, very big achievement. Whether it be one person or multiples, but that's really in the regular or postseason. I don't even remember this, but in spring training, doesn't quite draw the attention of the nation as it does during the regular season or postseason. Pedro Martinez started the game, who, if you remember, lost a perfect game in extra innings in 1995 when he was with the Expos.
That's right.
But he was talking to reporters after the game rather than watching the final pitches, so he didn't know about it. Reliever Rod Beck, shooter, he finished the game. He had no idea what they had just accomplished until the catcher came out to congratulate him and told him. None of these pitchers had any idea what was going on, and most of the crowd had left. I wonder if they even knew. It's 2000, so they had to have had a scoreboard would blatantly said that 0, but I guess you don't really remember walks or hit by pitches during a spring training game. It just seems kind of weird that nobody involved or in the stands for that part seems to really have known that, hey, this is a perfect game.
That is funny.
Which, again, is spring training, so you don't know who the batters are, but the pitchers probably aren't that great either. Except for Rod Beck and Pedro Martinez. They were both really good. But yeah, do you remember that? I literally have no recollection of a perfect game, a combined perfect game in spring training.
No, I have. That was the first time I remember hearing about it.
Has there ever been a combined perfect game, period? in the regular season?
Perfect? I don't know. I know no hitters, yes, but perfect games, not that I'm aware of.
No Major League Baseball perfect game has been thrown by multiple pitchers, except for this one, of course. But, I think they're talking about,
yes,
in the real one, in a game that counts. A combined perfect game has occurred in Japan, though, but it is not considered an official perfect game. Okay.
Such as the rule.
Yeah, all right, whatever. All right, that'll do it for the Tales part of the show. Mark, let's turn the corner and head into the final segment of the show. It is time for everybody's favorite baseball card stacking and fighting game. And it's time for Wax Packs here.
Gonna pull a wax back hero. Stars in his eyes. Hero! On a podcast tonight.
All right, if you are new here, we are getting ready to play. We're trying to put a board game together of this so that we can sell it and you can play it at home, because that's the only way you can replicate this.
That's a great idea.
We are playing first to 20. I am currently in the lead 15-13. Do you think we're going to wrap this up before the regular season starts or no?
I truly doubt it.
I doubt it too, but we want to do that. First to 20. What we're going to do is we've got some old baseball cards. This week we have got some more 1990 Donruss cards. So they're ugly and they're Donruss, but we're gonna take them. We don't care what they look like, really. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna play war like you used to play with playing cards. We're each gonna take a card. We're gonna go up against each other with those cards, and whoever has the highest baseball reference war is gonna win that round. First to 5 will win the game today. But we're going to play a little bit different, a little bit of things you can add or subtract to that score. First of all, anything that we deem an 80s baseball aesthetic. So that means real stirrups with sanitary socks, eye black, flip down sunglasses or those big science teacher glasses just so you can see your hand in front of your face, a mustache. All of these kind of things will get you an extra 1/10 of a point of war. If it's a really good mustache, it'll be an extra 2/10 of a point or more. I think we've determined if Corky Miller ever shows up, he's a little too contemporary for us, but if he shows up, it'll be 3/10 of a point because that dude just bled facial hair. But we can also subtract 1/10 of a point for things we don't like 2-in-1 stirrups, those kind of things. Also, if they won any awards the year of the card, like I said, this is 1990. If they won a Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, Gold Glove, or were on the All-Star team, you get 1/2 a point for each of those. If there's a Hall of Famer on the card, whether they're the focus of the card or not, you get a whole extra point. If Ricky Henderson shows up, doesn't matter when. Even if Mark pulls it, I win that round automatically. If Nolan Ryan shows up, Mark wins that round automatically. Any pop culture references that we can easily find, you get 1/2 a point for those. Unless they appeared on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, The Simpsons, or Seinfeld, you get a whole point for each of those. And if they were suspended for the Pittsburgh drug trials or the Mitchell Report, you're going to get a -1/2 a point on those. So,
there you go.
Like I said, Mark, I am up 15-13. Going to go ahead and open these lovely cards, and I have to rip them because they're glued onto the back because somebody has clearly opened this before.
Are those the reddish
yes,
border?
red
those
with
are lovely.
speckles. Yeah.
Yeah. How many commons of those do you think exist?
Well, I'm
Couple
holding.
million?
Well, here in my household, quite a few. I will tell you that. All right, I've got a pile here on my left and a pile on my right. Which one would you like?
I'm going to go back to the right.
Back to the right. All right. So you are going to start out with a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox who's got a 2/10 bordering on a 3/10 of a point mustache. I'm not going to lie. It is a pitcher for the Red Sox, Dennis Lamp.
Nice. I remember Dennis Lamp's impressive facial hair.
Oh, it is good. It's bushy. I think it's just unkept, but it's really good. You think they ever called him Dennis Light the Lamp or Lamplighter, anything like that?
Nothing that I'm aware of. But I'm sure he had to have had a couple of.
Someone had
monikers.
to have mumbled that to him at some point. Let's see. Overall, 16 years in the big leagues, 4 with the Red Sox, 4 with the Cubs, 3 for Toronto and the White Sox, and then Oakland and Pittsburgh for a season each. In 1990, age 37, he pitched till he was 39. He's a right-hander, too. He went 3-5 with a 4.68 ERA. got one start that year somehow. He's just a middle reliever, like the epitome of a middle reliever. Probably an emergency start. 105 innings pitched, 114 hits, 49 strikeouts, and 87 ERA plus, and that is a WAR of 0.3. He's got that 0.2 of a point mustache right off the bat, so you're going to get that to take you up to a 0.5. That's going to be everything on this card.
It reminds me of, if you watch the movie Tombstone, the one with Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell. That mustache looks like Kurt Russell's mustache in that movie.
Yeah, it's down. It is a really good mustache. Both you and I can grow facial hair pretty quick and dense. But I'm a little jealous of this. It's a good look. As a middle reliever, though, he received MVP votes in 1985.
Wow.
He came in 21st in MVP voting this year, tied with Kirby Puckett, and ahead of Damasio Garcia and teammate Rich Gedman. But Don Mattingly, of course, won that year, beating out Rickey Henderson because of Rickey Henderson.
Yes. And what's really impressive is his numbers that year are just amazing. Look how many innings pitched.
1.164.
1.164 whip. Very impressive.
Yeah, 105 innings, only 96 hits allowed. You got that guy in the middle of the bullpen. That's pretty impressive. Let's see, a 0.5. I'm not sure that he's going to have a lot of pop culture references here for you.
Probably not.
Gave up Lou Brock's 3,000th career hit and also surrendered Cal Ripken Jr.'s first major league hit. Worked behind the seafood counter at Bristol Farms in Newport Beach, California in 2004.
Huh.
Just probably got bored.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good for him. But so that'll be a 0.5 for you, and you will be going up against, I remember this guy. He was a pretty solid pitcher in the 80s and 90s. Here with the Phillies, it's Dennis Cook. Let's see.
Dennis Cook played for a few different teams.
Yeah, he's one of those grid guys that if you want to use him. 15 years in the big leagues. Mainly I say mainly. His longest stint was 4 years, and that was with the Mets. Also played for Philly, Cleveland, Texas, the Dodgers, San Francisco, Florida, the White Sox, and the Anaheim Angels of California.
Wow.
All the way to age 39, but he was a left-hander, so it makes sense.
Yes.
In 1990, he split time between the Phillies and the Dodgers. Overall, he went 9-4 with a 3.92 ERA. Let's see. He got some starts. He appeared in 47 games, 16 starts, 2 complete games, 1 shutout, and 1 save. That's running the gambit there. 156 innings pitched, only 155 hits allowed, struck out 64 for a 97 ERA plus, and a WAR of 0.6.
Oh.
0.6.
Come on, have 2 and 1s.
So, nope, nothing on this card is going to help nor hurt me.
So close.
So close. Won a World Series in 97 with the Florida Marlins. Could you just hear my stomach just growled really loud?
I did not hear
it. Good. Let's see. He was traded by the Giants with Charlie Hayes and Terry Mulholland to the Phillies for a player to be named later and Steve Bedrosian. Also was traded for Darren Fletcher, Rudy Cienez. I'm sorry, I forget how to pronounce that one. And Bruce Chen at one point, and Turk Wendell. So some good names there. Let's see. Was announced as Team Sweden's head coach, along with Scott Scudder in 2010. He's coached in the Cape Cod League and was named manager of the Polish national team last year.
Wow.
After the Czech team had that great showing in the WBC, all those European countries are getting serious about fielding a team.
Yeah.
All right, so good news for me. There's a win. I like it.
Yeah, boy, you scraped by on that one.
Yeah. All right, your next guy, infielder for the Detroit Tigers, Mike Brumley.
I remember Mike Brumley. Who's he playing for in this one?
The Tigers. Didn't he play for the Mariners at some point?
I remember him. I don't think so. But then
yeah, he did. 1990.
Okay.
1990. Yeah, just for...
He obviously made an impression on me.
62 games, yeah. Son of Mike Brumley, who appeared in the 60s for the Senators. Let's see here. Overall, 8 years in the big leagues, 2 for Boston, 2 for Houston, and then Detroit, Seattle, the Cubs, and Oakland, which I don't remember him either in 1994. But in 1990, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the Mariners year.
Yes, there we go.
Let's see, 62 games. He played just about everywhere. He played, short, second, third, left, and center. So, utility guy. Appeared in 62 games, 224 batting average, 272 on base, no home runs, 7 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, though, 64 OPS plus for a .1 WAR. He does have eye black on here as well, so that'll get you an extra 1/10 of a point, but that's about it on this card.
I'll tell you what, just looking down at the WAR, his career WAR, I think the .1 was pretty solid.
It was one of his better years for sure.
Yes.
Let's see, taken by the second round by the Red Sox, and then was traded by the Sox along with somebody named Dennis Eckersley to the Cubs for somebody named Bill Buckner. So
very interesting.
He was the tag along for a very big trade with 2 guys that went on to become very well known for different things. The Cubs traded him with Keith Moreland to the Padres for Goose Gossage. This guy was included with some names. Also traded to the Tigers for Luis Salazar, and then to the Orioles for Larry Sheets. All names we know here. I think he's more likely to be on the steroid list than pop culture, but we'll take a look. He backed up your buddy Omar on the Mariners.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, nothing. Oh, wow. He passed away, unfortunately, in 2024. Oh, just in a traffic collision. Wow. Age 61.
Oh, my goodness.
That's unfortunate. But nothing here is going to help you. So you've got a .2, and you're going to be going up against one of my guys that I really liked. Here he is with the A's, middle reliever, Jim Corsi.
Jimmy Corsi. I know Jim. He was a hilarious guy.
A big guy. Like he's a thick guy. Only 6'1", but 210. Let's see. He passed away in 2022. Did we know that?
I don't think so.
No, we'll find out more about that. Overall, 10 years in the big leagues, 5 with the good guys in green and gold, 3 with Boston, and then Houston, Florida, and Baltimore for 1 each. Unfortunately for me, 1990, he did not appear in the big leagues.
No, and I scored a positive.
Yeah, you did. He was in Tacoma all of 1990. Were you in Tacoma all of 1990 as well?
I was.
Yeah. Well, he only appeared in 5 games that year in all of baseball, so obviously hurt. Can I use his Tacoma stats?
No.
Okay, darn. Nothing on this card is going to help me either. Jim.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. He had this weird little leg kick.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yep.
My father had convinced numerous people that he was missing a leg. That was the reason he had such a weird leg kick, is because it was prosthetic.
Yeah, he would kick it like he was trying to get something off, like he had some toilet paper stuck to his shoe and he was trying to kick it off in his as he was starting to get ready to release the ball. Absolutely, I remember that. Yeah.
Dad had people convinced it was a prosthetic leg.
Let's see. He also ran a construction business in Massachusetts with his brothers. Diagnosed with stage 4 cancer of the liver and colon. Died on the morning of January 4th, 2002. He was 60 years old. Wow, that's too bad. Both of these guys just passed away somewhat recently. But all right, well, you get that one. That was a bummer. That was a bummer round, but you got that one.
Sad round.
All right, 1-1. Your next guy is outfielder for the Cubs, Jerome Walton.
I remember him being a huge deal his rookie year.
Yeah, rookie of the year. Didn't he? And he came in 1-2, didn't he? With Dwight Smith, his teammate. They came in 1-2, and then Greg Jeffries was third.
Yes.
But overall, 10 years in the big leagues. Cubs for 4, Reds for 2, and then Atlanta, Baltimore, Tampa, and the California Angels for a year apiece. In 1990, it was his sophomore season. So rookie of the year had a 1.9 WAR. Sophomore season, minus 0.9 WAR. That is a 3-point reversal.
Wow.
That is
rough year.
Big letdown. Yeah, 263 average, 350 on base. Isn't too bad. 2 home runs, only 21 RBI, 14 stolen bases, 83 OPS plus, and a minus .9 WAR. He does have a mustache, so you've got that. Nothing else here is going to help you. It's taken during BP, I can tell, at Riverfront Stadium because of my superhero power. He does have a mustache, though, so you will get that 10th of a point there. Let's see here. Anything else interesting? Second round draft pick. Anything going to help you out? Oh, no, he didn't win the Rookie of the Year. While in his Cubs career, Walton's fans used a Jerome-o-meter to track his batting average, a spinoff of the Sean-o-meter.
Yes.
I hope they didn't have a lot of high numbers that they were trying to use because it just didn't work out. So that'll be a minus 0.5 for you. Or minus 0.8, I'm sorry. I'm feeling confident. This is somebody I was trying to remember on stream today when we were doing the Immaculate Grid. I was trying to remember rotation members of the late 80s, early 90s Pittsburgh Pirates, and I couldn't come up with many. But here is one, pitcher for the Bucks, John Smiley.
Oh, okay. Sure.
John Guy Smiley.
Yeah, no, solid pitcher.
Let's see, 12 years in the big league, 6 with the Bucks, 5 with the Reds, and then Minnesota and Cleveland for parts of seasons. In 1990, just missed his big year. Third. Next year, he came in third in the Cy Young balloting. This year, not so great. 9-10 with a 4.64 ERA. He was a starter, 149 innings, 161 hits, 86 strikeouts, a 78 ERA plus for a minus 0.6 WAR. He is wearing 2-1s.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be a minus 0.7. If I can avoid anything else, I can win this round still.
This is one to be proud of, one for the ages.
Yeah, this is a battle of attrition here for this round. Let's see, anything interesting here. Traded for Denny Nagel at one point, and Danny Graves kind of go together. Let's see here. It's a short Wikipedia page. I like that. That helps me. He is still alive, it appears, so we've got that going for us. Smiley surrendered a home run to pitcher Tom Glavine, the only home run of his major league career, because Chicks dig the long ball.
That's right. He did get one.
Yeah. Nothing here that I see that's going to subtract, though, so I'll take it. Big win for John Smiley.
Man.
There. All right, next you've got infielder for the Cubs, Luis Salazar.
You say salad bar?
Yes. Don't you remember good old Salad Bar?
Was that a nickname? Salad Bar Johnson?
It should be. It definitely. Well, no, you'd have to be pretty svelte, though, right? If your nickname's Salad Bar, because that means you're eating salad a lot. Like if it's buffet or country breakfast, then you know you're a big guy.
Country breakfast. That's good.
Yeah, 13 years in the big league, 7 with the Dads, 4 with the Cubs, 2 with the White Sox, 1 with Detroit. In 1990 with the Cubs, let's see, 115 games. He played most of it, at short and left field. Kind of a unique combo there. Hit 254, 293 on base. Man, take some pitches. 12 home runs, though, 47 RBI, 3 stolen bases, and 80 OPS plus for a .4 WAR. He's got a mustache here, so you can get a 10th of a point there. Nothing else, though, on this card. He's got his number written on the knob of the bat, but it's
not profane.
No bad language or anything, so nothing else there. Let's see, he was traded for Kurt Pavakwa at one point. Tommy Lasorda's favorite guy. Traded with Ozzie Guillen by the Padres to the White Sox. So that's for Lamar Hoyt, but that's how Ozzie got to the White Sox.
Interesting.
Let's see here. Anything else gonna help you out here?
Just wanted to mention that in the 2018 season, he was named manager of the Florida Fire Frogs. Of the Atlanta Braves organization. I just wanted to say the Florida Fire Frogs.
They were that name probably for one season, and then they went to it because they changed.
These guys change it all the time.
Yeah. Let's see. In 2011, struck in the face by a foul ball by catcher Brian McCann during spring training. He was airlifted to a local hospital to undergo surgery and had his left eye removed.
Ouch.
We know it didn't affect his managing.
Apparently not.
And member of the Hispanic Heritage Baseball Hall of Fame and the Venezuelan. Here, Wikipedia, they've got this big banner that just says Baseball Hall of Fame, like he's a member of the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. But
Member of a couple Halls of Fame, or is it Hall of Fames or Halls of Fame?
I'm going to go with Halls of Fame.
Okay.
I'm just going to put an S on both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Be safe that way.
Yeah. Cover all my bases. All right. Luis is going up against another Red Sox pitcher for me, Mike Boddicker.
Boddicker. Wow, I haven't thought about that guy in a while.
Let's see. 14 years in the big league, 9 with the O's, 3 with the Red Sox, 2 with Royals, 1 with Milwaukee. In I'm liking this. 1990, he went 17-8 at age 32 with a 3.36 ERA, 228 innings, 225 hits, 143 strikeouts for a 1.22 ERA plus. He also won the Gold Glove that year.
Oh, my.
I don't need it, though, because he had a 5.9 WAR.
Boy, oh, boy.
Yeah. Wow.
Why'd you got to beat me so bad there? You got something to prove?
A 5.9 WAR, 17-8, didn't receive a single Cy Young vote.
Wow.
I mean, I'm guessing Clemens and Stu and Bob Welch probably got most of them this year.
Yes.
Let's see here. Let's take a look at some of his superlatives down here. Traded by the Orioles to the Red Sox for Brady Anderson and Curt Schilling.
Woo, there you go.
Yeah, we know Brady had a good career with Baltimore, and we know about Schilling, but it's a good haul there. But Boddicker was looking at these numbers, he was a really good pitcher, like really good. Yeah. From 83 all the way till 1991, he was a solid pitcher. So I can see giving up some guys for him.
I love this. Rod Carew once referred to his pitching repertoire as Little League Slop, which was my nickname in grade school. Yeah, Little League Slop.
Well, he had a great career, as we've been talking about here. So, yeah, Rod Carew's obviously a Hall of Fame and one of the greatest hitters in the history of the game, but I think you might have got that. I'm interested to see what Rod Carew did off him. We're going to have to look that up because I have a feeling that Rod Carew couldn't hit him.
That's probably it.
I don't see anything else here that is going to hurt or help me, but I don't really need much. Rod Carew. So 15 plate appearances against Mike Boddicker. Rod Carew hit .091.
Yeah, well, you called that one.
Yeah, he 1 RBI, 1 hit, a single, and struck out thrice. That sounds like sour grapes to me, Rod Carew.
Yes.
But good news for me. That's another win. I'm up 3-1. Oh, boy. Well, you're going to win this one. This will be a quick one. Very quick one.
Because they got the trucks that are on the ball. From work to play, they've got it all. They've got a base that's a real steal. And here's another very good deal.
You have got pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. It's Brett Saberhagen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll look up what he did this year. You're going to win this one because you got the Ford truck money. Yeah. You're playing with house money when you get Brett Saberhagen. Let's see, 16 years, Royals for 8, Mets for 4, Boston for 4, and then Colorado. Oh, I keep forgetting he played in Colorado. I could have used that on the grid today. 1990, he was an all-star, despite going 5-9 with a 3.27 ERA in 20 games. So he missed 10-ish starts, but that's, wow, not a great season. Let's see, 146 hits, 87 strikeouts, a 118 ERA plus. He was an all-star, 3.6 WAR. We might as well make it 100. 100 WAR.
Yeah, might as well.
Let's see. Of course, won a World Series with Kansas City in 1985. Was 19th round draft pick. Traded by the Royals with Bill Pecota to the Mets for Greg Jeffries, Kevin McReynolds, and Keith Miller.
I remember that deal.
I do too. A lot of names going on there. And let's see, besides rapping for Ford Trucks, he appeared as himself in the 1994 Brendan Fraser movie, The Scout.
Nice.
And was also on that episode of Married with Children during the players' strike. Just a boatload of extra points for you. And I guess his oldest daughter is some sort of celebrity as well.
Nice.
All right. And the reason I am so confident that you were going to win this, you are going up against first baseman for the Baltimore Orioles, Jim Traber. I remember Jim Traber, but I also know that Jim Traber is not going to get me 1,000 WAR points, which is what I need. Jim Traber, 4 years in the big leagues, all of it with Baltimore. Unfortunately, he retired, or at least didn't return to the big leagues after the 89 season. So no points there. He's got a mustache. Overall, a minus 0.9 WAR, 227 career batting average. He did play elsewhere, though. He played in Japan for the Kinitsu Buffalo in 90 and 91. Full seasons there and played very well. Hit 303 and 272. Hit 24 and 29 home runs, 92 RBI both seasons. And stole 11 bases in 1991. Wow.
Nicely done.
Yeah, very good couple of seasons there in Japan.
Found his niche.
Yeah. Nothing else there. He was nicknamed the Whammer.
Like in The Natural.
Yeah, just like in The Natural. After retiring, he pursued a career in broadcast media. He did some television color work for the Arizona Diamondbacks, part of the 2001 World Series broadcast team. He can be heard cheering in celebration behind Greg Schulte during the famous play-by-play call of a little blooper, base hit, Diamondbacks win when Luis Gonzalez hit that blooper off of Mo. Currently hosts the afternoon sports beat and Total Dominance Hour on WWLS FM in Oklahoma City. And he refers to callers as yardbirds. Okay. All right. But good for you, Jim. Keep it up. So I'm up 3-2. This round is an automatic over round.
Uh-oh.
You have a Diamond King of Nolan Ryan.
Wow. How does that happen?
And my card was Todd Worrell.
Oh, see? Yeah, legit.
I had a legit shot. So we're not even going to need to look at Nolan's numbers here.
Go back to show 34 if you want to know some interesting things about Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, I want to see Todd Worrell, what I'm missing out on here. 1990, did not play, injured.
Okay.
So,
well,
I was going to lose. Blowout. Yeah, I was going to lose that one either way. But congratulations to you. Nolan's got a whole movie made about him. So that's big time. And he might be having a YouTube video from us coming up in the near future. So
nice. Yes.
All right. We're tied at 3. And this is going to be a battle of pitchers. You have got Tigers pitcher Jeff Robinson. Now, there are 2 Jeff Robinsons.
Yes.
A reliever and a starter. This is Jeff Mark Robinson. Let's see. Jeff Mark, 6 years in the big leagues, 4 with Detroit, 1 with Baltimore, Texas, and Pittsburgh. 1990 with Detroit, he went 10-9 with a 5.96 ERA in 27 starts. They must have been bad. No, 79-83, finished 3rd. 10-9 with 5.96 ERA, 145 innings, 141 hits, 76 strikeouts, a 67 ERA plus for a WAR of -1. He does have a mustache, though, so that will just take you to -0.9.
I already had a -0.9 guy.
Yeah, your pitching staff, Nolan is clearly going to carry you when he pitches, but that's about it. Traded by the Tigers to the O's for Mickey Tettleton. Good old Fruit Loops. Let's see here. We've had him before. Nothing that is going to help or hurt you, though. So, yeah, you got a 0.9. You're going up against my pitcher for the Astros, Jim, 2 silhouettes on Deshays.
Ah, yes. One of my favorites.
Got a lot of vowels in his last name. Jim Deshays, JD is his nickname, apparently. 1990 with Houston went 7-12 with a 3.78 ERA, 34 games as a starter, 2 complete games, 209 innings pitched, only 186 hits allowed.
Wow.
The year before, he threw more innings and allowed fewer hits. Wow, he did not give up a lot of hits. Wow. 119 strikeouts for a 99 ERA plus and a 3.0 WAR. Nothing else on the card is going to help me, but I don't think I'm going to need it here. Unless he was named in the Mitchell report like 8 times.
No, only 6.
Only
no, I'm
6.
kidding. Interesting. September 23rd, 1986, against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Deshaies set a major league record by striking out the first 8 batters of the game.
That's good, right?
That's pretty decent.
Well, Justin Verlander tied Deshaies' record for consecutive strikeouts at any point on October 4th, 2022, which sounds like a playoff game even.
Yes. Sounds like it.
Pretty impressive. Doing some broadcasting work. Looks like he is working with the Cubs still. Not sure. But whatever, that's a win for me. Puts me up 4-3. You've got middle reliever for the Cubs, who this guy was solid as a relief pitcher and as a fun last name to say. It's Paul Ossenmacher.
I remember Mr. Ossenmacher as a Brave.
He played a lot of places. 14 years, Cleveland, Chicago, Atlanta, the other Chicago, and the Yankees. Lefty, out of the pen. He's going to stick around. Played through he was 38. In 1990, with the Cubs, he went 7-2 out of the bullpen, 2.8 ERA.
Not
10
bad.
saves, 103 innings, 90 hits allowed, 95 strikeouts, and a 147 ERA plus. For a 3.7 WAR. He's got a mustache and beard, and he's wearing real stirrups.
Wow.
So that's a 3.9 for... He closed some games. He finished 21 and had 10 saves, but appeared in 74. A 3.9 for a middle reliever is unheard of. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
Let's see, he was traded for, the Royals traded in a 3-way deal. That's how Tuffy Rhodes got to the Chicago Cubs to then hit 3 home runs on opening day.
Yep.
Nothing else going to help or hurt you, but that's a 3.9, and you're going up against my outfielder for the Royals, Gary Thurman.
Gary Thurman. I must have had like half of my common baseball cards were Gary Thurman, I think.
How did this guy remain in the big leagues for 9 years? He did spend a year in Seattle. That's part of your answer. But Royals for 6 of his 7, and then Detroit, Seattle, and the Mets for other parts of seasons. In 1990, a minus 0.7 WAR.
Wow.
Third consecutive season with a minus 0.7 WAR.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
And he kept playing. He had... Of his 9 years in the big leagues, 4 of his seasons were a minus 0.7 WAR. He also had a minus 0.5 WAR. His career WAR is minus 0.28.
Wow.
He was a utility outfielder. Defense would have helped his WAR.
Yeah, that's pretty rough right there.
Wow. He was a right-handed bat, not like he was a switch hitter or a lefty. No power. He had some speed, but wow, I'm impressed that he stuck around that long.
I guess so. He was a first round pick.
That's why,
so
yeah. There you go.
You got to give him every chance in the world.
Yeah, first round draft pick. Let's see, did he play anywhere else? Played an independent ball afterwards, but jeez.
Interesting.
Depth shot. Yeah, he had his shot. Looks like he also coached first base for the Marlins in 2012. And he still coaches around, it looks like. But regardless, you're going to easily win that one. And we're going to sudden death again.
There we go.
4-4. You have got a guy, one of my guys, from the A's. Unfortunately, we know he's passed away. It's Tony Phillips. Super utility guy. Tony Phillips.
Can play absolutely anywhere and play it well.
Yeah. Again, let's see. Did he ever pitch? Because he didn't catch. I don't see any catching. Every number here in positions played except for 1 and 2. Overall, 18 years in the big leagues. Oakland for 9, Detroit for 5, Anaheim and the White Sox 2 apiece, and the Mets and the Blue Jays for 1. In 1990, after collecting his World Series ring in 89 with the A's, he went to Detroit, appeared in 152 games, 251 average, 364 on base, 8 home runs, 55 RBI, 19 stolen bases, 99 walks to 85 strikeouts.
Very nice.
Very nice indeed. A 101 OPS plus for a 4.8 for a utility guy. I mean, he played every day, but he played everywhere. 4.8. He does have 2-1s here on. He's got a beard, though, so those will cancel out. That'll be 4.8 after we're done looking at the card. First round draft pick by the Expos in 1978. Let's see here if there's, I don't think there's going to be anything else. I know he roomed, Ricky Henderson let him live with him for a while when he came up. Oh, yeah, fielded the final out of the 89 World Series off Brett Butler through to Dennis Eckersley covering first base, who then fist pumped at the Giants dugout.
Yes.
Not a great move there, Eck. Played alongside former Athletics teammate Jose Canseco with the Yuma Scorpions of the North American League until it folded in 2012.
Wow.
Got in an altercation with former Scorpions manager Mike Marshall, who was then with the Chico Outlaws. Phillips punched Marshall in the face, causing the latter to press battery charges.
Oh, whoa, okay.
Wow. Okay. Well, I just listened to the Mike Marshall episode of the 89 Tops podcast, and he got in a couple of scuffles with his own teammate as well. Cocaine arrests, charged with buying a small quantity of freebase cocaine, but didn't appear on any stuff. Died of a heart attack in 2016. So you've got a 4.8, and I am going up against Tony Phillips with outfielder for the Giants, Donnell Nixon. Can I take Donnell Nixon's lifetime WAR?
Probably not.
Well, no, you just say yes.
Yeah, you can have it.
All right, you're still going to win. Donnell Nixon, 4 years in the big leagues, 2 with the Giants, 1 with the Mariners, 1 with Baltimore. 1990, his final year, it was with Baltimore. He only appeared in 8 games, an 80 OPS plus for a .2 WAR. Nothing on this card. Well, he's got real stirrups, but it doesn't matter. He's going to come nowhere close to a 4.8 WAR. Let's see, he was traded by the Mariners to the Giants for Rod Scurry. Now, there's a name I have not heard in a long time.
Yeah, no doubt.
Boy, Rod.
This is impressive. In 1983, well, with the Bakersfield Mariners, Nixon stole 144 bases in 135 games.
Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah. Definitely got good speed. Just, you got to get on base in the big leagues to be able to steal.
His brother was super quick, too.
Was it Darnell? Who was his brother?
Otis.
Oh, really? He's Otis Nixon's brother. Wow.
Yes.
And let's see, but he didn't have any cocaine. No,
not seeing any.
Now, I did not know he was Otis Nixon's brother. Wow. All right. Today I learned. All right. Unfortunately for me, though, you're going to win.
There it is. A hard-fought battle.
Yeah, that was a hard-fought one for sure. That'll bump you up to 14. It's 15-14. You're right. We're never going to finish this by opening day.
No, never.
It's going to be 19-19, and we're going to
see that coming. Yeah.
All right. But congratulations to you. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around for the Into Wax Packs Heroes. That's going to do it for this. We'll be back again next week. If you want more of us, you can check us out on all the socials. All the links are there in the show notes, or just do a Google search for Two Strike Noise. Also, Mark, if they do Google search, they're not going to come up with this email address, so you better tell them about it.
It's Two Strike Noise, spell it out, TWO, strike noise @gmail.com. If you have written, I'm way behind, but I promise to get back to you, okay? I promise. That's a sealed with a kiss right there, pal.
We'll get those autographed headshots off to everybody, we promise.
That's right. Everybody that wants one can have one.
All right. Well, that'll do it. Thank you again for listening, and let's do it again. We'll see you next week on another episode of Two Strike Noise.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day.